March is Women's Month, and this month we feature the founder and co-CEO of the Dutch Pot Jamaican restaurant, Mrs. Cherry Marshall. Okay, let's start with some questions. Who inspired your love of cooking?
Spent a lot of time in the kitchen with my grandmother and my mom growing up. My grandmother was a very godly woman who loved to cook. She taught us a lot about God. We hardly went to church because we grew up poor and we didn't have much to wear to church. But every night she would have devotions with us. She taught us a lot. She would talk about not being envious of what other people have. She would talk to us about right and wrong. She would talk to us about forgiveness. She would drill into my mind that one day, she would do like this, one day you're gonna become something. She always says, mother have, father have, blessed the child that have his own.
As a Jamaican expatriate, where did you first land when you came to America?
I landed here in Florida. We came here in the 80s. 15th Avenue, that's between Broward and Sistrunk. That's some green apartment. I remember my husband told me that I didn't know people live in them. I thought it was army barracks. That's what my mom could afford at the time because she was filing for 8 of us. And I remember saying to my mom, no, I'm not staying here. Because I thought I was coming to America. I want to see America. So I took part in a partner. This is a savings plan that each person would put $50 per week in a pool. When it was time for me to get my draw, which was $1,500, I used that $1,500 to move all my family out of the project. Because, like I said, my grandmother would always look at me and knew that something was different about me. I don't settle for less, to be honest with you. Where I'm from in Jamaica, it's the rural area. So what I would see trees, green grass, green trees. I wouldn't see any project life, if you would call it that. So the moment I landed here and I go home to wherever they took me, I'm not staying here.
How did you start the Dutch Pot Jamaican restaurant?
I started the Dutch Pot Jamaican restaurant out of my home. A little townhouse we rented in Davie. I love to cook. I love when I cook and someone enjoy my meal. I thought, why not cook and deliver it? At the time, my sisters, one would be working in the salon. We have 3 in the nursing home. And so I would cook and deliver to them. When I just started out, it was just my husband and I. And on his lunchtime, he would hide and come and deliver the food for me. I remember one day he couldn't come and deliver. My second son, he wasn't feeling too good, but I still had to deliver the food myself. He cried all the way until I dropped off all the meals and cried all the way back home in his car seat. That broke my heart. It broke my heart because I realized that this little thing that I started at home needs my attention, and my 1-year-old needs my attention too at the same time. Dutch Pot was built out of love, sweat, and tears. My sister and I would spend 21 to 22 hours a day in the restaurant. For 2 years, no days off. I remember one day I went to pick up my son from the daycare. Thank God it was my sister at the time who was running a little daycare, so I was able to leave my son there. And I went to pick him up one day and he was in my sister's lap. And he looked up at my sister and says, "Mommy." That broke my heart. Well, I'm gonna cry. I really wanna cry. When he said, "Mommy," because when I dropped him off at my sister's house, 4:30 in the morning, he would be sleeping. And when I picked him up 1:30 in the morning, he would be sleeping. So when the only person he saw was my sister, so he started calling my sister Mommy. And that broke me. And I said, this too shall pass.
How many locations do you now own?
We have 9 locations. We opened 9 locations in the Tri-County area.
How did you get this far, where you now own 9 restaurants?
We move with the inspiration of God. I always ask, God, lead us and we'll follow. And that is how Dutch Pot is where we are today. He leads us and we follow. That is why no one really knows who Dutch Pot owners are, except for you, Rockwell, and some more from the past, back in the days when we just opened. You don't see us on social media exalting ourselves. We stand by the principle of his word that says, he that exalted himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. I could remember when we opened our first location, we would listen to George Banton's song. I don't know if you remember Rockwell, but the moment we get to work, 5 o'clock in the morning, we would turn the George Banton song on that says, I'm next in line for my blessings. And we would run that song all day until closing time. I'm next in line for my blessings. That was our energy to keep us through the day. God been working for us from we opened the door, and we know he's still working for us.
I'll be driving around the neighborhood and I'll see Dutch Pot jerseys, and they're really identifiable by your green and yellow colors. How many employees do you currently have?
We have over 350 employees. Well, you know why we created these jerseys? We did it that the employees would know that they're a part of a team, the Dutch Pot team, and this is why we created the jersey.
Recently, I saw a no hiring sign in one of your windows. What is it that makes you choose to pay $13 an hour as opposed to $8.65?
We are a family-owned business, and we treat all our employees as family. We pay more because we expect more. And we want these team members to operate on a high level. I remember a state representative came here and says, do you guys realize you raised the poverty bar from, I think it was $8 and whatever it was paying at the time, to $13 an hour? And we said yes. We also offer a full benefit package to all our employees. We do paid vacations because we take vacations. God have blessed us so we can bless the community.
There's a post going around on social media with a picture and a video of a meal that a customer allegedly bought at one of your restaurants. You want to tell us a little about it?
I can't speak for the video, because that video is not the food that she brought to us that day. I want to share the timeline of that brown stew chicken in question with you so that your viewers are actually informed. That's totally not the food. The picture on the right-hand corner is the food. We received an email from her. In the email, she alleged that she found some white specks, which she thinks it's parasite. I said to the person who brought it to my attention, tell her to bring the food with her to the corporate office the next morning, because I want to take a look at it to see what that could be. She came, and she said she Googled it, and it says it's fly eggs, because we have the tampered tape for the Uber, because she got it through Uber. She got the tampered tape still attached, because if you mess with that tape, then we'll know someone go in the bag. So it was still attached. She said she ripped it on the side. And that's fine. That's exactly what it looks like. We saw the receipt on the side of the bag. We realized she bought 2 brown stew chicken, 1 large soup, and a fried dumpling. Her boyfriend ate his food when it was delivered, and she put hers away so she could eat it later. My general manager says we could do a refund, or we could do a replacement of the food. She got really mad. She picked the food up, and she said the power of social media, and you will hear from my attorney. About 2 hours later, that's when we saw this video appear. We can't even recognize that meat. Whatever that is, we can't recognize it, because if you notice, she zoomed it up so close, you're not able to see. You don't see the plate, you don't see the rice, you don't see the vegetable, you only see the meat. And we still can't recognize what kind of meat that is, because that don't look like chicken. So after leaving here, with whatever she said that was, just take a look at your video, the picture of the meal versus that video. 2 hours later, that's what she says. Wherever she got the video from, that's what she's telling the public she got from the restaurant. We prepare the order from our steam table with temperature more than 135 degrees, by the way, and secure the order with the tampered evidence tape. The Uber Eats driver picked up the order at 1:31 p.m. The order was delivered to the customer at 1:49 p.m. At 8:26 p.m., we received the email referenced in the above corner. The food spent almost 7 hours with the customer. Are you saying that flies are only seen at restaurants and not in private residence?
Okay, Cherry, let's take a minute and go through the Dutch Pot Jamaican restaurant operations. I know you are open early in the morning, but let's walk through your operations.
Some stores, depending on the stores, we would close at 12 and they leave at 2:30. By 4:30, 5 o'clock, the chef would be coming in. They cook non-stop the moment they get through the door, non-stop until closing time. We closely monitor our foods. For stores that close at 11 o'clock, they'll get out of there like 1 o'clock. For stores that close at 12 o'clock, they get out at 2 o'clock. And by the time they get out at 2, chef will be coming in at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it's impossible for any Jamaican restaurant to serve a food like that, the way we cooked. I know no matter how slow the restaurant is. And as for Dutch Pot, that is so busy, it's impossible. We cook brown stewed chicken like every hour on the hour. No Jamaican restaurant, a matter of fact, no restaurant would serve a meal looks like that to anybody. We put systems in place in all our stores in order to track the preparations of all our foods. Just so stuff like this wouldn't happen. Because Dutch Pot is where we eat and feed our families. All the employees know the company's mantra. If you wouldn't eat it, don't sell it. If you wouldn't buy it, don't sell it. If it looks burnt, throw it out. If it looks dry, throw it out. Bottom line, if you wouldn't eat it, don't sell it.
Have you ever had an incident like this before?
Never. 20 years, this is the first. Not even when we just opened and we were very slow. Never. No one, I've never went so low.
We know South Florida is a melting pot, and this has somewhat caused a situation between ethnic communities. What are your thoughts on this?
Somebody brought it to our attention yesterday. We're a Jamaican, we're going at it with that nationality. And I didn't like that. My sister and I, it make us sad. We don't want to see that way of living against black people. And it makes us really, really sad. And if that person is watching, we definitely want to tell them to stop it, not to do that. There's a lot of good people from Haiti. The 28th of February was my son's wedding. The wedding planner, the makeup lady who did the bridal party is from Haiti. We have good people from Haiti. I don't like when you go down that low to be talking about a nationality like that. I don't like that. We didn't like that at all. So let's step away from that. You have good people and you have bad people. And sometimes people just need help.
Before we wrap up, Cherry, is there anything else you'd like to share with the viewers?
We want to thank all our loyal customers. We also want to welcome the many new faces who have graced our doors, and we want to say thank you. The Dutch Pot Jamaican restaurant, thank you. My sister and I, thank you. The doors are open. Our food and our stores are very clean. These doors will never close.
Cherry, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for taking the time. 21 years we have worked together, and I know the effort and the pains that you've put into growing this company. Thank you so much, and I wish you continued blessings.